Hello, this is David Arroyo, and today I would like to cover efficient flatting with Procreate. So I recently did a video tutorial on how to color comics within Procreate, and I thought it would be a good idea to dive deeper into the flatting process itself. Alright, so let's have a quick look at this flatting process. So the last video was about coloring comics in Procreate, but in this one I really want to focus on the flatting because I really felt like I had forgot to discuss like how to flat very efficiently, so as fast as possible within Procreate, because there is a fast way to do it, and especially if you are the colorist and you do not have access to the separate line art where it's easy to color drop like I did in the first video. So let's dive straight in. So this drawing that you're looking at right now is a drawing that I drew and I colored, did also the flatting, did the whole thing. And basically I'm going to use this as an example. So I'm going to remove the colors right now. And I'm also going to remove these two layers. So there we go. This is the original ink. And I'm going to start with the flats. Okay, so what I do in this case is I remove the ink to about, let's say, I don't know, 20% or so. I lower the opacity. The fact it says assisted here, but it's not even necessary. I only had it on assisted to draw some quick lines in perspective. Not necessary. Right. In terms of flats, so as I already said, for this I use a flatting brush. Right, this is my flatting brush. So what I'll do, because I also spoke about the flatting brush in the previous video, but here I'm actually gonna show you how I made it. It's super simple. So you just, like here, you press the plus button at the right top corner. Then here you go for the shape source. You go swap from Pro Library. Then you look for let's see where it is. There you go, the blank. That's all you need, just a simple blank. Okay, and then swap from Pro Library again for the second one. And here again, you choose the blank. Okay, so you have everything you need now for your brush. You just need to give your brush a name. You can do that at the top here, and then you just call it flatting brush, and that's it. Once you do that, you've got your brush. See, so now I've got two of them. So I will delete this one and keep the one at the bottom. Okay, so that's how you make that flatting brush. It's important to do it because that's what will allow you to get the job done. Okay, now the trick about this flatting technique is to start from the outside and work your way in. Okay, so the biggest pieces first, and then you do the smallest pieces last. So we are on our flats layer, which is the most important thing. I can see that my brush is working as it needs to. The color that I choose makes zero difference right now. Flatting is not about finding the color, it's about just getting the job done. So here I am in quick line mode, and I'm just gonna do a straight quick line down, add a little bit more here. Honestly, at this stage it really doesn't matter as long as it's inside the lines. Okay, so there we go. We do the same here, do a quick line. Now don't forget here, because it's also the outside, I'm going to quickly go around there we go. And the thing about this is that you can let go of your brush at any point in time. It really doesn't matter, you know, as long as you just get your outline done. Okay, so here again, going to make a quick line. There you go. Now the selection is made. All I have to do is color drop. Again, what you have to do here is always keep an eye on the color threshold. Now, if it didn't connect, that's because there's an opening. Okay, so you do have to make sure that your loop is closed. Okay, and with I mean, I have it at the absolute smallest brush size. If you make it a bigger brush size, it's easier to not make that mistake. Now, we're gonna color drop again. I like to go with the threshold to the point where it doesn't, just before it starts going over. Okay, because sometimes it just does funny things. And let's say here, this is fine. Okay, and in order to check it, I can just bring back the ink, and there you go. So this is what we got right now. What you can also do, and what I tend to do as well, is I use basically I duplicate my ink, and the original ink I lock the layer so that I can't touch it anymore, and this one I put to 20. Okay, and the only one I need to check all the stuff is the original. Okay, so while this one is just there for seeing the the selections that I make underneath, this one is just quickly to tab and see what the colors look like with the ink above it. So let's see, and that was this one. Yeah, normally I leave this one at 100 and this one like this. There we go. Okay, so now that the flats are done, the next stage that I wanted to show, which is important, let's say, so if I recall well, I had something like a greenish color on the character, so I'll go for something green really quickly. Doesn't matter. Right, now the thing about this is that instead of tracing the entire character, all I'm going to do now is just start from a point here and go around here, here, basically the places that need to be green. And if you make a mistake, no problem, because you can see that, oh, I needed to add this as well. Okay, just add it, no problem. So you just go around, take your time. You can tilt your canvas. You do need to zoom in quite a bit, or at least I do, in order to really stay within the lines. Make sure that I don't do any stupid things. I go here, just the character itself. Just need the character. Okay, up to there. Something like this. As long as you just stay on the outline, that's the most important thing. Okay, so under the actual ink, and here I can just reach the end. That's enough. I don't have to trace it again. So everything that I already have done, I don't need to trace again. Same here. So as long as I have a connection point, then I can keep going. And I'm not tracing the entire image, and you'll see what I'm doing basically in a second. So I'm only tracing this part, this part, this part, up until there. There you go, that's it. I don't need more. Now if I color drop, okay, it will, if I lower the threshold a bit, and I go, yeah, up to there, there you go. It will literally just color the parts that I need, okay? And that's the important part. If I take away the inks, you will see it. It is a flawless connection. Okay, and that's really what you want when you're coloring. So you can bring back the ink here. You can even bring it back like this. That's your character, and you've got your things on the side. The rest, again, you just keep on selecting based on the what you already have. So if I recall well, the sides were something with a bluish thing, and I'm going to go very psychedelic now because I'm just really quickly demonstrating. I'm not picking the exact colors. I'm just quickly demonstrating, like, okay, that was more or less the selection. Guess what? I can just color drop it straight there and then. Sometimes it's worth checking your color drop threshold, because if you've noticed, you might not see this in the video, but if I go too low, it doesn't copy the right color. Okay, so if you want the exact color, make sure your threshold is in the right position. Here the same thing. It's really simple. I'm actually just going to do a quick line. There you go. And that's it. And I can color drop it again, and there you go. And it stays perfectly within the, if I were to remove the ink again, you can see it. It connects very nicely, which is exactly what you want. Now, for people that have been doing a lot of flatting, you will know this already. I mean, you would have done this in Photoshop, and this technique would have been only logical to apply. But if you haven't, if this is a new thing for you, if you're not, if you're not a professional flatter and that's not what you do every day, and you're looking for solutions to how to approach this, then, I'm happy to be of service here to help you with this tutorial, because this is actually quite useful. There we go. So normally, see, I've literally just taken that side, and there you go. I didn't have to go over the entire image again. And it's the same with everything. If you want to do the face, you just, again, I'm doing really crappy colors now, but with the face, however, you will need to, go over it, obviously, because you have nothing else selected within it. So it's a selection inside a selection, so you will have to trace the entire line. But if, for example, after that, I want to do a part of the helmet, and the face just happened to be part of it. See, here again, every time you do a color drop, make sure your color drop threshold is accurate, and make sure for the colors, if it's too low, it will take this strange color. If it's too high, see, it starts doing something really awkward with your lines. So it's not like the bucket, exactly like the bucket tool, the paint bucket tool in Photoshop. It's a bit different, so you have to be careful, but it does work. So if I were to zoom in, it's one and the same color, and that's really what you want. Okay, so this is your image, and you've got the thingy. So that is the one thing about flatting that I did want to show, that you can make these connections very easily without having to go and trace everything. It is just super useful, and you can just win so much time. So again, here with the cape, for example, I did something in yellow. Now the cape, I already have an orange here, I have a green there, so logic tells me that they are already, and am I on the right layer? Yeah, I'm on the right layer. Okay, so logic tells me that they already have a division, right? So I'm quickly gonna trace this. And I know this might be a bit boring to watch. I understand it's not as pretty as all these other things that I get to do, but it is nonetheless extremely important and extremely valuable. Okay, so there we go. And then here, basically all I need to do here, just this is enough. Look, if I just do this and then this and this, because that's where the cape begins and here's where it ends. Okay, so literally I've just done this long line and the other one there. Now I'm going to color drop, and it does exactly what it needs to do. So again, I'm shifting the threshold to the point that it's at its maximum peak, and that's it. I didn't have to go over the entire thing, and flatting like this can go very fast. Okay, so this is just to show you really quickly how you can win some time during flatting process. And again, the colors are really crazy and off here, so if you want, I'll just show you what I did in my own flats. Let's go here for a bit. So to color this, I started with my flats. Sorry, I've just selected everything in one go. Let's deselect. These were my flats, which you can see right here. I'm just going to remove this one. These are the flats, very simple, very to the point. Then on top of it, I did a background shadow or shader. It's basically just a simple gradient. Added some shadows to the face. The armor I did, and that was in a multiply, by the way, the shadows. The armor lighting I did on as an add, because the color worked really well with the green, and it was a different type of mode. Now in the new Procreate, which this is the one actually, you can go to your brushes and you can change your blend modes, meaning that if you do it like that, you don't have to create another layer like I did here. I was just doing it out of habit, but for a future reference, now you know you don't have to do that. I added another lighting layer just for the other sections here. Extra lights, I think is more like a rim type of thing. And again, all of this can be done just in one layer if you really wanted to. If you just color pick the right things without all these extra layer modes and stuff, you can do it just like that. There's no issue. I added some additional shadows. Then I gave the sword some extra type of light, some like bright bluish thing. And then I made the background a little bit lighter to make it look like, the ink was actually more in the distance. Added some sword gradient, as I'm calling it here. And that's it. And that's how I got to this. It went actually quite quick. Didn't take that long. And all that thanks to the flatting process. And before I forget, the flatting itself, the reason why the flats are so important is because, look, now on my flats, if I go to selection, I put it on automatic, and say I want to go and change the color of the cape, right? So I just select the cape. It's selecting my, the color in the flats. And now in adjustments, I can just go to hue saturation. Whoops, sorry. Need to go into the flats, and of course I need to unlock. That's the only way it will allow me to do that. I need to go to here, and I can just here on the fly change the saturation, for example, or the color itself. And say the editor said something like, let's not go for that. Let's go for I don't know. We want to go for something a bit more aqua-like or something, to go with the cape, or just anything, even pink, doesn't matter, just anything. And you can go with the brightness as well, play around with that, just anything. And once you're happy, you just say like, yeah, okay, done, I'm happy with that, and there you go. And all that you can do just with having good flats. So if your flats are good, then you can do that. You can make these changes on the fly without any problems. It doesn't take you decades to fix everything. And because I've done my lighting on a different layer with a screen in this case, then it sometimes, not always, but sometimes it still works with the flats. So because I didn't add the color of the underlying flat as a light, but I used a light source, like the color of the light, and then I gave it a screen mode. And then, yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what you're going for. But in this case, it's not too bad. I can still change the mode, like maybe with an add, and then it looks a bit more silky. You can try a color dodge until you get basically what you're looking for. So it all depends. It really depends on how you've set up your layers, obviously. And that's basically it. That's why your flats are so important. And they are basically extremely useful to make your selections while you're doing your colors. That's basically what I do, and that's why for me the flats are extremely important. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed the additional explanation on the flats, and especially that trick on how to make additional selections on the flats itself. It really helps a lot. It helps me a lot, and it speeds things up quite a bit. So it's just something that you would have done in Photoshop anyways, but in Procreate, because you need to make that special brush, that flatting brush, that's really what makes all the difference. So there you go. That was it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be seeing you guys next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.